The other news story I have for you today is kind of a funny one. So as you know, I am pretty much fighting gamed out. I'm not going to be playing fighting games anytime soon. But at the higher ranks of Tekken 8, which likely is probably about where I was and a little higher than where I was in the ranked matches, apparently there has been a big problem with people who are playing the game nonstop, but then they cheat. So how can you cheat in Tekken 8? Well, it's very simple. You play, and if you win your match, you stay, and you get all your ranking points, and you rank up. If you're about to lose, you pull the plug. You pull the internet out of your console. And if you do, it drops the match. The way that Tekken 8 works is if a match drops, no one gets any points. But you also don't lose any points. It just cancels the match as if the match never happened. So imagine if you were playing a game and you only could gain points and never lose, you would always level up. And that's what's happened. There's actually people in Tekken 8 who had been playing for about a month and a half, and literally never lost any ranking points because they just cheated every match and pulled the plug. So because of that, you had people who were actually way higher ranks than they should have been. And people were infamously angry about this. In fact, there's one player who's was ranked I think top 5 in Tekken 8 since its inception, since it came out in January. And we're like, this guy is not even good. He literally is just a cheater. He'll beat scrubs, and then whenever he's about to lose, he pulls the plug, so he just stays at the top and never loses his leaderboard spot. This is bullshit, and something needs to be done. So people have been complaining nonstop to Harada, the main lead designer of Tekken, since the game came out. You got to fix this. So finally, a few days ago, there was a big public post by Tekken and Harada himself saying, we have now implemented a system where we can detect someone who's an infamous plugger. That's what they're actually calling them, pluggers, because they pull the plug during the match, okay? So if you're an infamous plugger, and we've seen that you've disconnected a certain amount of times, there's no way that's just like a coincidence. You're doing it on purpose, and we're going to purposefully ban your account from being able to play online moving forward. So that's pretty crazy. That basically, the first time ever this is being implemented. No one's ever done this before. To be clear, no one's ever done this. In some games, what used to happen is if a match dropped, it would actually hurt both players, right? So if it hurts both players, it sucks, because if you're not the person who pulled the plug, you get penalized like you did something wrong. That's not fair, but it also would penalize the person who pulled it, so they would have less incentive to do it. It would make sense. They're going to still lose the ranking points, so why even disconnect? There's no point. So in that case, people were deterred from doing it because everyone would lose, right? In the case where no one loses if you pull the plug, there's really no way to deter the plugger. So that's why they actually have reached out and tried to figure out who are the infamous pluggers, and they've done it. So here's the deal. Yesterday, Low Tier God jumped on Tekken 8 to do his nightly rage session of playing the game and literally plugging all night whenever he's about to lose. And he found out that his account was banned live on stream. So you might say, ha, got him. So finally, these people get their just desserts. Except there's a little problem with that. What ends up happening is you can just make another PlayStation Network account. Yeah, you could just do a second account. And then you can immediately jump right back on and play again. The difference is you have to start from the bottom. You have to start your ranking over. So it is funny. It's the equivalent of, man, you got punished. You got reset to 0. And now you got to play again from the start. But what's to stop the person from just doing it again? And especially if they're better at the game now because they've been playing it for a while, what's to stop them from just plugging over and over and within a week or two, get right back to the level that you were at, right? So it's not a foolproof solution. Essentially, it's a hindrance for these pluggers. It's not going to stop them from doing it, but it's going to make them deterred from doing it. It's like an example here, right here on YouTube, okay? I have 24-hour subscriber-only mode on my chat. Does it stop trolling all the time? No. There's still people who can make troll accounts, come in and troll, and then they get banned, and then they have to wait another 24 hours because they have to make a new account for it to talk again. It's a deterrence. They could keep trolling, but it limits the amount of trolling. I think that's the idea behind banning pluggers, is we know it's not going to stop the plugging action entirely, but at least it deters the worst ones from getting ranks they don't deserve, and they're going to have to systematically, every once in a while, restart their rankings because we're going to keep catching them and banning them and catching them and banning them again. So, you know, there you go. That's interesting. It's never been done before in a fighting game. And it was funny because it happened live on stream to all of LTG's audience, and everyone made fun of him for it, of course, because he literally just does it, apparently blatantly, in front of everyone. Like, literally in front of everyone, he just does it overall. And there's concrete evidence that he's just an infamous person doing it, and he got banned. But I guess what people were, at least as of the last time that I was looking at it, there were still some of the infamous pluggers, and they were still on there and weren't banned, and people are scratching their head. Why has it not banned them like the top people? Why are they still in there and not banned yet? So I don't know. I guess we'll see if they actually get those people or not. But I just think the whole thing's stupid. Like, I think that it is very dumb that sadly people could pull this off, and that it's got to the point where now devs have to take action because these people are so fucking desperate to have some kind of online recognition for a virtual ranking on a leaderboard. I mean, you have to be the biggest loser on the planet to be pulling the plug during a fucking online fighting game match. Listen, I rage at fighting games. I lose at fighting games because I suck at them a lot of the time, okay? I get frustrated. I'll insult my opponent. I'll say very, very mean things. But I don't pull the plug. A loss is a loss. Even if people get it by underhanded means or spamming or whatever it is, a loss is a loss. You just deal with it. All right? And I don't know how much of a fucking bitch you can be in life that you literally would pull the plug on a fighting game match. I mean, of all the things in life that you could have some responsibility for, right? To get away with responsibility, the fact that you lost in an online fighting game match, you have to be the biggest bitch on this planet. And I mean that too. Anyone out there who's ever pulled the plug on a fighting game, you are a fucking bitch. I mean, God, do you have any semblance of discipline, decency, or responsibility in your real life? Because if you're pulling the plug on a fucking fighting game online, that means absolutely nothing. And you somehow value your online rank. I mean, holy shit, you are a bitch. And there is no way that anyone can dispute it. The moment that you do it and you pull that plug, and if you're doing it publicly, that's even worse. You just proved you have no fucking manhood whatsoever. You're a coward. You're a creep. You're a fucking loser. Don't fucking pull the plug on an online virtual game. You can't, I mean, wow. I can't fucking believe people would do that. You have to be like the lowest level of fucking manhood to do that. I mean, wow. I'm sorry. It's not, this is not directed at one particular person. Can you imagine the guy who apparently is top 3 in Tekken 8 ranked online? I mean, what a fucking life loser. This is all you do. You sit around playing Tekken, pulling the plug all day. This is your claim to fame in life. Wow. So now you're banned. So now what are you going to do with the rest of your fucking life, you loser? Holy shit.